Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning for some. Thanks for joining our learning clinic for today. We have very amazing sharers from Toumon Wikipedian Club Japan, Wikimedians of Japan, and WMF, and I will introduce you to them shortly. So the title of our learning clinic today is Exploring Diff Blog, Sharing Your Story, and Understanding Technical Implementation. And we will learn the significance of Diff, how we can use it to document activities and events, and of course, how we could use this space in promoting our projects and community programs. And let me introduce you to our speakers. First is Eugene Ormandy, a very prolific writer in Diff, and also a member of the Toumon Wikipedian Club Japan. We have also Yuriko Kadokura, a librarian and the staff of Wikimedians of Japan user group. And of course, Chris, a senior movement communication specialist of WMF and assigned in managing Diff. So this clinic is guided by the UCOC and friendly space policy. If ever you feel you need to report something, feel free to message any Let's Connect member. You can see their labels in their names. So before we start the clinic, I would want to orient you all of our Let's Connect culture. Let's Connect is an effort of both WMF and volunteers like us to provide an open learning space for Wikimedians in the movement. We may tackle some stuff that may be technical for some, but remember that we are also here to have fun and meet other Wikimedians across different regions. And also, feel free to be yourself. You may always use the raise hand button if you need to say something, or you may also use the chat box. And it's not only from the speakers that we expect to learn, but also from the participants here and of course from ourselves. So don't hesitate to share. And here is our agenda for today. Uh, there will be an icebreaker after the short introduction, and then we will be having a discussion by Chris about Diff, and then there will be question and answer portion wherein we could ask Chris about some questions we have for him, and then Eugene and Yuriko will be sharing their experiences as writers in Diff. And then after that, we again would have question and answer, and then we would allot 10 minutes for the group discussion and then the closure. So why are we here today? Here are some of our learning objectives for this clinic. Our sharers from the Japanese community will be sharing their relevant experiences and how they have made use of Diff as Wikimedians. We will also learn some of the technical aspects of Diff, its other functionalities, aside from just being a space to write blogs. And most importantly, after the session, we will be confident into contributing to Diff and sharing our works to the wider Wikimedia movement. And for our icebreaker, let me call my other Let's Connect member, Bukula.
Okay, thank you so much, Anthony, for running us through the session agenda. In order for you to participate in this icebreaker, because we'll be breaking the ice, please kindly click on the link in the chats while I share my screen to run us through what this will look like. Oops. Yeah. Okay, I see Eugene has joined. Still waiting for more participants to sign up. We now have 16 participants on this board. It's very full screen. Okay, so we take 2 more minutes to sign up or less. We have 26, we can do more. We still have 25. Still 25, we still have some few minutes. Oops, I need to turn this off. Disable. Okay, I think we can get started once we are at 30. So we just need 3 more participants to sign up and then we'll get started. 2 more left. Can we sign up? Yes, 1 more left. Oh, it's 28, 29. Yes, 30, finally. Now let's get started. Okay, let me play this sound. So the first question to break the ice says, have you ever added information or media file on any Wikimedia projects related to something which you never liked? So we want to see your response for either no or yes in 1 second. Okay. Wow, this is interesting to know. Okay, so let's see what we have next. I'm really surprised to see that we have a whole lot of yes. So I would like to see what we have in response to why yes. Why did you even contribute? Okay, so let's go to the next part and see the fastest finger. Wow. Anchal Patel Wiki Club Sati seems to be leading with 82 points. So kudos to you. And we move to the next one. Now for this one, let me open the submission. On which platform did you read an interesting story about Wikimedia projects, Wikimedian, or any other activity as it relates to Wikipedia? So let's see if we have been using the Diff or if we've never done. And also this would really help us keep track of how we should increase the way we contribute to the Diff. So let me see what we have. Trying to move this around. Okay, so Diff seems to be leading with 9 participants responding to Wikimedia Diff. So this shows the relevance and importance that the Diff Wikimedia blog has within the community. And it's also further proven that we need to publish all of our stories, project activities on the Wikimedia Diff, because we seem to have a whole lot of Wikimedians reading about our stories, our projects, our programs, our experience on the Wikimedia Diff. Okay, so let's see who had the fastest finger again. Wow. Okay, so Patel Wiki Club Sati seems to be leading, and that's good. And I see Luda King following with 77 points. We also have Listener, 77 points, Aspar Kana. Thank you all for participating in this quick icebreaker. And with this, I would pause. I'll stop sharing my screen. And let's hear what Chris has to say about Wikimedia Diff today. And maybe this would further inspire us to think more on how we want to contribute to Wikimedia Diff. So with that, I'll pause and pass the virtual mic to my co-host. Thank you.
Wonderful. Bukola, would you mind sharing the slides?
Okay, sure. Let me do that quickly.
Okay. So while Bukola's pulling that up, I will go ahead and just introduce myself. Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Koerner. I work at the Wikimedia Foundation. I live in the United States, in the state of Missouri, in a small town called St. Louis, which is located along the Mississippi River. I'm actually connecting with you all tonight, not from my hometown. I am actually in Japan on a vacation at the moment. And if it wasn't dark, and if it wasn't so cloudy out, you'd actually be able to see Mount Fuji behind me, which is very beautiful. So I'm really honored and feel very privileged to be here with you all to talk about Diff. So thank you. So let's get into what is Diff. Diff is a community blog. You can visit it by going to diff.wikimedia.org, in case you haven't been there already, although from the icebreaker, I know that a few of you have. It's a community blog. We started in 2020, and it's a blog that anyone can contribute to. If you have a Wikimedia account, you can go to Diff. There's an about page at the top of the page. There's also a login link at the very bottom of the page, and you can log in with your Wikimedia account, and you can submit a draft blog post. It is a community blog. My job is to keep it running and to make sure that it is useful and relevant and supported so that volunteers, affiliates, staff members even can continue to communicate and share the work that we're all doing. It's supported by the team that I'm on. The team I'm on is called the Movement Communications Team. And it really is, I really want to emphasize that it is a blog that anybody can contribute to. We have a very broad scope. We don't say you can or can't write about something, as long as it's, again, focused on hosting content about the Wikimedia movement for the Wikimedia movement. Sorry, if you want to write a blog post about your favorite cats, I don't think we'll be able to publish that one. But if you're doing some editing and you're running workshops or you're running editathons and they happen to be about cats, we'll be happy to publish a blog post about the work you're doing and the experiences you're having as a Wikimedian in the work you do. What our role is at the Wikimedia Foundation in publishing things is we give a very light editorial review. We check to make sure that the blog post is in scope. We make sure that it has a good picture, a good headline. We make sure that things like links work. Don't want to publish a blog post where links don't work. And then we schedule it and publish it schedule it or publish it to the world. Diff is kind of a funny name, right? Why do we call it Diff? We call it Diff because we named it after the view in MediaWiki when you're looking at two differences between an article. It's also the difference volunteers make, which I know is a little silly, but that's why we named it that. Diff is not using MediaWiki. It actually uses WordPress, which is an open source content management system, probably one of the most popular ones out there in the world, which is great for us because we like to use open source software, but it's also great in that we can build upon a giant, huge community of people who do a lot of really interesting work. There's lots of really great documentation and lots of great capabilities in what WordPress can do. Next slide, please. So I want to talk a little bit about why is this important? Like, why do we have a community blog? What's the big deal here? We wanted to create a place that was somewhat centralized. I know nothing's ever central when it comes to the Wikimedia movement. We work and move amongst different spaces constantly. But we wanted to create a place that was central or somewhat centralized, that was multilingual, that wasn't one specific, wasn't based or focused on one specific project. And we create that place where people can share and learn from one another, right? A place where you can write about the work that you're doing, create an archive for the history of our movement, but also understand what is happening across the movement in different languages, different projects, different initiatives, and hopefully, again, learn and share from one another. It's not just talking about what you're doing, but hopefully it's a place where you can learn and read from what others are doing and connect with other people, learn from their challenges, learn from their successes, those sort of things. I feel like the Diff blog is great for campaigns. So if you're doing a months-long or year-long campaigns or a yearly campaign, it's a great way to bring the awareness to those campaigns throughout the year, right? Don't just publish a blog post and say, hey, we did that, we're done. It's a way of highlighting ongoing work continuously we have to remember we were all new people in the Wikimedia movement, and there's always new people joining. And so writing about the work you're doing, write about the initiatives that you're focused on, it's a great way to reach new people. How many people are you reaching? I'll get into that a little bit. Diff also has the ability, you have the ability to subscribe to Diff, so you can receive every blog post that's published on Diff as an email. And as of right now, we have over 1,000 people have just on their own signed up to get those emails in their inbox, which is pretty amazing. I mean, that's larger than some of our mailing lists, right? So every single blog post will go out into somebody's inbox. That means they really want to read the information and they're really interested in hearing about what you're doing. And like I said earlier, it's also an archive of work where we can go and search and look back, see what was important, see what people have done in the past, connect that sort of narrative over time of what we are doing as a movement, what we are doing as communities, and what we're doing even as individuals. Next slide, please. Thank you, Bukola. So I want to talk a little bit about Diff from some numbers a little bit to kind of give you some context when I talk about Diff and I'm telling you, you should use Diff, you should read Diff, you should subscribe to Diff. I want to hopefully give you some information that might excite you or might make you encourage you to do that. From January of this year until March, Diff has seen 43,892 visitors, which means roughly a person, although visitors aren't exactly people. We don't track people, we kind of track devices, which brings us to about 111,000 views. And that's from nearly all parts of the world. I'll show you a map here in a second. That's about 1,200 views and about 500 visitors per day visit Diff to look and search and understand and learn from what's going on in the movement. And most of those people come from search engines. They're not coming from WhatsApp groups or they're not clicking diff.wikimedia.org in their search engine or in their browser. They're searching for things, and Diff is what comes up in those search results when people are searching for what's going on in the movement. Diff is this enormous archive of work that we're doing. I think we have something like 7,000 or 8,000 blog posts on Diff, going all the way back to the previous blog we had, which I think goes back to like 2008. So again, it is really, really an archive of all the work that we're doing. And we also have an event calendar on Diff, which I can talk about later, but we've seen in the last 3 months, 44 events were added to the community calendar. And since July 2021, when the calendar was added, we have over 529 events. These are things like Let's Connect and Wikimania, obviously, too, regional events. So there's tons of different ways of learning and sharing what's going on Diff. Next slide, please. And I really do mean, when I say people from all over the world, we actually can track, again, roughly, this isn't super precise. In fact, there was some weird behavior in the stats. You'll see that Germany's kind of lit up here on this map. There's some weird bot activity happening in Germany in February. I don't know what that was about. But you can see that nearly every country in the world is lit up in a shade of orange here, showing us that people from around the world are coming to Diff and reading about what's going on within our movement, which I think is pretty amazing. By the way, if anybody's ever in Greenland, if you could just load Diff once for me so I can get that to show up. Nobody ever visits from Greenland, I guess. Not a lot of Wikimedians in Greenland, I guess. Next slide, please. And again, just on the breakdown kind of stats of what we can see. These again are from the beginning of the year till about end of March. It's not a competition, right? We don't want to say, oh, I want to go visit Diff so my country's higher or anything like that. That is a multilingual sort of place where can information, not just like super, United States based or anything like that, which I think is really cool. Now I'm going to switch to the other side of things. I want to talk a little bit about who's writing these articles. Like, okay, who's just doing all this work? Next slide, please. So from January until March, from January till March, Diff published 472 individual blog posts from 208. Some of the blog posts are translations. People who have graciously spent their time translating articles from one language into another, so that they and their community can learn and benefit from these articles, which is amazing and always appreciated. So 228 people have spent time writing about what is going on in their community, what are they working on, what are their concerns are, what are their successes, what are their difficulties, what accomplishments they've had, what milestones they've met and reached, which is amazing, right? That means as a community, as a worldwide community, we publish about 5 blog posts a day, every day, weekends and holidays included, 5 blog posts a day. And out of all those blog posts, more than 70 of those were available in languages other than English, which is pretty cool. That's about 15% of all of our blog posts were written in other languages, which is amazing.
Chris, I don't mean to interrupt you. Do you mind just slowing down just a little bit?
Sure thing. I'm sorry.
All good. Thank you.
No problem. Next slide, please. I want to show what it looks like when I say 228 authors. These are the names of some of the authors that have published a blog post in the last 3 months. You might see some familiar names. And actually, if you go to the next slide, I couldn't get this all to fit on one slide. It's 228 people is a lot of people, so it's even spills over into another slide. And this is really amazing to see. You found yourself there. It's amazing to see people from all over the world together to share what they're working on. Appreciate everybody who's ever written or translated a blog post on Diff. It's really amazing to see all these people come together. Next slide, please. So I kind of shared a little bit about what Diff is and who's reading it and who's writing it. And now I want to give you all a little bit of advice. Before I hand it over to Eugene and Yuriko, I want to share a little bit of kind of, as one of the people who helps keep Diff running, what makes a good blog post? Like how do you write a good blog post? So I'll just kind of walk through these very quickly, not too quickly, I hope, but these are just some very high level tips. Sometimes it's hard when you sit down and you have a blank screen and you're like, I don't know where to start. And these are some of the things that might be helpful. So the first thing, and the biggest one, is write for your audience. Think about, why would they want to read your blog post? Why would someone want to read about this? And think about what you want to achieve. Are you trying to inspire somebody, encourage them to take action? Are you just trying to let them know about something that's happening? Like, think about that deeply. Take a minute, think it through, and that'll kind of give you an idea of how to kind of structure or provide some framework for your blog post, right? The second one is use a creative headline, right? I hate to say it, but we are driven by headlines as human beings. A catchy headline that is relevant and focused on the topic that you're talking about is going to do a far better job of getting people's attention than something that's kind of boring, like new event next Tuesday, right? You want something engaging, something interesting, maybe even something funny, right? For example, here, I said something like, VSN published a report on their collaboration. Here are 7 things you can learn from the Volunteer Supporters Network. Like, that might be an interesting headline, right? Another one would be, a student uploaded aerial photos to Wikimedia Commons. So the headline would be, 1 student, 1 plane, and 37 photos in Wikimedia Commons, right? I know these are a little silly. These are a little bit long, but thinking of a good headline is going to go a long way to getting people engaged. Another thing I encourage you to have on your blog post is find a really nice, captivating, what we call featured image. That's the image that will show up on Diff. It will also show up when your article is shared on social media. And it doesn't have to be necessarily something super specific. It could be something like a picture of landscape, or a picture of people working together, or a picture from the event itself, just people doing something. A nice, captivating featured image. Also, feel free to use section headings and actually, make those H1 or H2 headings and break up your text. It doesn't have to be one giant long article of text. Break it up into chunks, break it up into smaller sections. And if it gets really long, if your blog post gets really long, turn it into a series. Turn it into part 1, part 2, part 3. Don't feel like you have to cram it all into one blog post. It's great to see multiple blog posts, and we can publish them over the course of a week or the course of weeks. And again, it's a way of taking a breath and being able to engage with people and share your thoughts fully without having to, edit and summarize everything. So please consider that. Consider that when making a blog post. 2 more small little technical things. Also, if you do add images to your blog post, please make sure you let us know where those images come from. The biggest thing that prevents us from publishing a blog post is when a blog post has great photos in it, but we don't have attribution. And as you all know, having proper attribution is a big part of our movement, a big part of making our information free and accessible to everyone. So that's a big one. It's a big one. Okay. Next slide, please. I'm at the end of my prepared presentation here, and I just want to encourage you all, if you have any questions after this session or anytime in the future, please get in touch with us. We are here to help, and we want to help you be successful in whatever work you're doing and communicating that with the community. You can reach us on Wiki. This is a short URL that'll take you to MetaWiki. Or you can email us directly. Our team has an email address, diff@wikimedia.org, and we will respond and help you figure out whatever it might be. And this isn't just before your blog post gets published, but after your blog post is published. If you ever have any questions about how well your blog post is doing, or if you need to make an edit to your blog post or anything like that, please, I just encourage you, please get in touch. And that's it. Thank you for letting me talk.
Okay, thank you so much, Chris. So good to learn more about Diff, even if like I have experience publishing on Diff. I love to see like the numbers, the statistics, and also seeing how we can improve how we draft our blog posts. And just while you were speaking, I was just thinking of an idea, maybe publish a Diff blog for this session and say won't connect 58 people.
I love it.
Okay,
Great idea.
yeah. Yeah, so I know while Chris was presenting, we also had some questions, comments, some maybe anything, even maybe you need more clarity on what Chris had said previously. I would like us to go back to the R slide and use that to drop in all of our questions, and anyway, if you may be confused about what Chris had said, please will be using the AHA slide, and I'll switch my screen now to the AHA slide to take all of your questions and give time for Chris to respond to them. Just some minutes trying to switch.
Bukola, maybe we can also start with the first question that appeared in the chat, and then anyone else.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so we have some questions in the chat already. You can either use the chat or just come here to drop your questions. Yeah, so starting with the questions in the chats, I don't know if I missed any, but yes, I think I took note of the question Suyash asked, and it said, is it priorities on Google or only search engines? Okay, maybe what he's trying to ask is how easy is it to find the Diff after it has been published? Can one just go on Google and just find information about a Diff that you just published? I don't know if I get that correctly.
No, actually, let me correct it. Thank you. So I just wanted to ask, like, whether we just go to any search engines and just search for any specific topics. So whether this Google or other search engine also prioritize the content written inside the Diff. Like I'm not talking about searching about Diff on Google, but if we are searching for some, let's say Wikimedia outcomes, Wikimedia outcomes for 2024. So let's say if someone is searching, so whether these search engines also directed to our Diff blogs. And I have another question, but this is the first one.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
I understand the question. We don't anything special for
Chris.
any particular. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
You're just choppy a little bit on your end. If you can just start over one more time. Sorry.
Sure. No, that's strange. Okay. Yes, good question, Siyash. We're not doing anything special for any particular search engine, and we don't restrict any public search engines. Because I shared earlier about headlines and featured images and things like that are just good best practices, regardless of what search engine is crawling our site at a given time. So we're not doing anything special. I haven't also, to be very honest, I haven't spent any time truly optimizing the site either. Like I'm sure there's probably more that we could do to make it show up in different search engines, but that's something we haven't looked into.
Thank you, Chris, for this answer. And my second question, second question would be like, I was super impressed with the graph you have shown, like how many countries are using Diff, and I was very happy, like India was at third. So do you have any, further detail, like more data on that, like what type of, like whether in India, which language it, stake of different languages in this Diff blog, reading or writing something. So do you have some extended, like more data rather than just a bar graph?
Yeah, it's a good question. Do we have more data? And the answer is no. It was quite a feat for us to get this much data and still be compliant with our privacy policy. And we're very careful about privacy and security of people. So we can't track. I unfortunately, if you emailed us and said, hey, Chris, I published a blog post 2 weeks ago. Can you tell me if somebody in this language or in this city, or could you tell me if they read this? I couldn't tell you that. I could tell you 700 people read your blog post, and that's about it. I really can't drill down too far into the statistics. And that's, again, just for safety, privacy concerns. We don't want to risk even gathering that information.
Okay, so quickly, maybe we can go through some of the questions that we have coming in on my screen. And the first says, how can we see statistically how many people read the post we write? So maybe you want to respond to that.
That's a great question. And again, I have been asking if we could publish these more regularly in a public way. I haven't got an answer on that yet. Again, security and privacy being a major concern. But if you as an author want to email the team or contact us on our talk page and say, hey, I wrote these 3 blog posts. Can you tell me what statistics we have? I'm happy to share those with you. I'm happy to take the time to go find that information for you. Perfectly happy. I think it's really important too to be able to provide the information to authors, because I know it is helpful when reporting out for grants or reporting out for other initiatives, to be able to say how many people did you reach or how many people read the work you're doing. I'm happy to help support that work. We all are here and on the team.
Okay, thank you for responding. So the next question is, can you please explain how to create a Diff post? I don't know how you're going to explain that, but maybe in less than 2 minutes.
If you go to Diff and you go to diff.wikimedia.org, there's a button at the top that says About. And we have lots of information is documented on how to log in and the editorial process. Yeah, exactly, Cassie. It totally could be a part 2. Me and Eugene and Yuriko could spend 2 more hours going through how to write a blog post in WordPress. But Diff has a lot of documentation. If you get stuck any part of the way, if you Google search how to add an image WordPress, there are thousands of documentation websites and YouTube videos out there. And if you and your community want more in-depth how to use Diff, I'm happy to come speak. I know I've done this for people in this room. I will come, or somebody else on my team will come, and I will do a half an hour or an hour-long session on just how to use Diff. I'm happy to make myself available. So there's lots of resources out there. We have some on Diff. The World Wide Web has a lot, and I will personally come to your Zoom for your community and share as much as I can.
Okay, thank you. I think that was less than, maybe less than 1 minute. Just sarcasm here. Okay, so the next question here says, are we allowed to write about experience or projects we carried out a while ago, or we can only write about recent ones?
That is a really good question. I would encourage you, if you want to write about something you did in the past, to tie it to something you're doing now or something that is important now, right? Maybe you were one of the first people to see translating manuscripts as being really important, and you started working on that back in 2011. And now you've been doing it for so long, you have all these examples of the work you've done. Like, I think it's important to document the past, but also tie it to where we're at now and where we're going, because that's going to make it more relevant for readers to be like interested in. Does that make sense? Like, if you wrote about something you did 10 years ago, somebody's going to go, okay. But if you could tie it to what you're doing now, if you could tie it to what the movement's doing now, what we're focusing on, what your community's focusing on, I think it'll have more impact. And I think people will be just more interested in understanding that.
Thank you. So we have some few minutes to take one more question, but there are so many interesting questions here. And maybe I can just randomly pick Ania's question that says, can we cite Diff in Wikipedia article? For example, if there are a Diff post on Wikidata usage that hasn't been reported in any media or journal article on Wikidata, and it has significant information. So can they cite Diff on Wikimedia projects?
Wow, we could spend another hour debating if you can or cannot, right? I will say that on Wikipedia, articles on Diff have been cited, but most of those, unfortunately, I think have been when like the foundation makes some sort of announcement or some sort of like press release type thing, right? The foundation, in the article would be the foundation in 2024 said blah, 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 and it would link to the Diff article. I don't want to get into, can we do that for other things? But I think it would be very interesting, and it might be very context specific, right? If you were hosting an event and that event had a Wikipedia article, or there's an article about that region or events in that region, and you're reporting out what happened at the event, 10,000 people showed up, XYZ happened, then yeah, that does seem like, again, I'm getting into like what's a reliable source and neutrality and all that. So lots of different questions there, but maybe is the answer.
Okay. Yeah, it seems we need more time to discuss about whether it is right to cite a Diff on Wikimedia projects. But yes, thank you for speaking to that, Chris. Okay, so we've now exhausted our time for taking Q&As. Trust me, we are still going to respond to these questions and we'll make our time. It could be during this session or maybe at the end. We'll try to get the sharers to respond to all of your questions. Yeah, thank you so much. And with this, I would stop sharing my screen and pass to the next speaker.
Okay, is it me? Okay. Okay. Hello, this is Eugene Ormandy from Toumon Wikipedian Club, Japan. So I will share my slide. Sorry. Can I share the PowerPoint slide, Chris? Can you see it? Can you see this, right?
Yes.
My slide?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sure, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you for joining my session entitled Diff and Wikimedia Archivists. Okay, this is an overview of my presentation. It consists of 4 parts. The first is self-introduction of me, and the second is before I joined the Diff. The third is Diff activities, my activities in Diff. And the fourth is future vision of Diff. Okay, this is the first part, self-introduction. My name, my username is Eugene Ormandy. It is not a real name. I am a Japanese Wikimedian since 2018. When I was a university student, I started to edit Wikipedia and then continue to Wikidata or Wikimedia Commons, Wiktionary, and so on. And during my university studies, I founded the Student Wikipedian Club entitled the Student Wikipedian Community in Waseda University, Tokyo. In the Japanese name, Waseda Wikipedian Circle. And after the graduation of my graduation, I also founded the alumni group of it. It is Toumon Wikipedian Club Japan. Now I am a member of that club. The Japanese name is Toumon Wikipedian Kai. And as a member of these clubs, I have hosted several editathons. Editathon means Wikipedia or Wikimedia related editing events with GLAM and universities. GLAM means gallery, library, archives, and museums. So I have collaborated with some Japanese institutions such as Tokyo National Museum and Tokyo University of Foreign Studies Library and Oya Soichi Library, Sanko Libraries, and so on. And after some activities, I was selected as one of the Wikimedian of the Year at 2023 Wikimania in the category of the Newcomer of the Year. There are some reasons why I was chosen as a Wikimedia of the Year, but one of the reasons is because of Diff writing. Okay, so in the second part, before joining Diff, I share my interests and why I joined the blog, Diff blog. Okay, as I showed in the first line, my strong interest is how to archive the unique culture of Wikimedia movement. As many of you know here, Wikimedia movement is quite unique, and I think it is one of the best culture in the World Wide Web. So, and maybe I thought many Wikimedians also think that, and they also try to archive these cultures. For example, project pages on Wikimedia projects. For example, MetaWiki or user page of the Wikipedia and so on. These documents are easy to write, but hard to find, as you know, especially for beginners. For beginners, it is hard to find the user Eugene Ormandy subpage / events reports. So I think this blog style will be better to find. So, but I think every blog media is, I don't think every blog media is okay because of the, we cannot predict when it is finished. Yeah, blog media hosted by other parties likely to become extinct before Wikimedia project itself. For example, in Japan, Goo blog, Goo blog, one of the famous blog medias, were extinct in the 2025. So a lot of documents on the Goo blog were expired. I think it is a great loss of the culture archives. So this is my interest and move to my solution. Maybe as of you know, understand, Diff is my solution. Blog media hosted by Wikimedia Foundation will be a good solution in the respect of accessibility or centralization and sustainability. Okay, let me move to the third section of my presentation, activities on Diff. In the first of all, I want to strongly insist that what I write is what I want to archive. What you write is what you want to archive, I think. So with this thought, I have written some articles, Diff articles, maybe over 2,000. It includes, it varies, but there are some types. The first is reports of editathons, Wikipedia events, especially how to organize Wikimedia events. The second is interview articles, especially oral history of Wikimedians. The third, book review, how people mentioned the Wikimedia project, and so on. And the fourth is Wikimedia philosophy, what exists behind Wikimedia articles or Wikimedians. Okay, I will explain the details of each. The first, reports of editathon. Writing some reports of editathons I joined or organized. As I explained, I have organized some editathon in Japan and some international online collaboration. So I made a report of them. To document them, I document not only results of the editathon, for example, how many articles are written or how many edits, how many participants, but also how to negotiate with GLAM or universities or institutions before the editathon, or how to prepare and what I felt after the events and so on. There are various respects about the Wikimedia event. And as you know, many Wikimedians create a project page on Wikimedia project page of the event with editathons on Wikimedia project. I don't deny such activities, and I also create a project page on Wikimedia project. Yeah, so I will show the example. Chris, can you see the Diff articles now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, this is not my article, but other Japanese Wikimedians article. It is a document archive of the Wikipedia editathon at Oyasoichi Library in Tokyo. It is a magazine-focused library, quite unique. Yeah, so, okay. Oh, wait a minute, please. Yeah, Chris, can you see the slide now? PowerPoint slide now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, next, interview articles. As you know, Wikimedians have very unique ideas, and Wikimedians varies a lot, and they have different cultures, different ideas, different experiences, different activities, and so on. I think it is very interesting, and it should be archived. So I started to interview them and document on the Diff blog. So in such articles, I ask, why did you start editing? What is your motivation? What influenced you as Wikimedians? Or what do you think the good point or bad point of the Wikimedia project, and so on? So I interviewed maybe about 10 or 15 Japanese Wikimedians and documented on Diff. Yeah, so I will show example. Yeah, this is a Japanese Wikipedia Diff article. Maybe some of you are interested in how to archive Wikimedia movements in your language. I think a Diff, as Chris introduced, a Diff, we can write Diff articles on our languages. I think it is quite important. So this is a Japanese Diff articles about the Japanese interview article of the Japanese Wikipedian Kezawa, this one. And usually I asked blah blah, and Kezawa answered, I started Wikipedia articles when I was blah blah, and I discussed with the deletion of the Wikipedia article blah blah, or other articles. I think I hope it becomes a good document or historical records of the Wikimedia movement itself. Yeah, so let me move to the third part, book review. Writers or other people often mention to Wikimedia project, especially Wikipedia. I think such opinions should be archived. Such opinions also should be archived and analyzed on Wikimedia related media. So some of you may know that there are some articles about books which mention to Wikipedia on the Wikipedia article, or MetaWiki page, or Diff, and so on. So I hope every discourse about the Wikimedia project were displayed on the Wikimedia project itself. So I write a book review about a review of the book which mentions the Wikimedia project. So in my activity, I pick up some Japanese magazine articles which mention to Wikimedia. So I will show my example. Yes, this is a review of the academic magazine article about Wikidata, which Japanese researcher write. In this Diff article, I introduced the summaries of the academic article and introduced the Wikidata itself and add my comment, in my opinion. Actually, the author of the academic article itself read this article, and I was thanked by him. Yeah, okay, this is the last part of my activities, Wikimedia philosophy. Maybe as you know, Wikimedians have their own philosophies, so I want to archive it. What is Wikimedia project? What can we do with those unique medium? Such questions and philosophy are sometimes presented on Wikimedia project, especially user pages, but I think blog style is better in the respect of accessibility. So I wrote an article. I pick up my example. I wrote a Diff article about why I edit Wikipedia articles which are not interesting for me. I will show the example itself. Yeah, this is why I edit Wikipedia articles which are not interesting for me in Japanese languages. Yeah, it shows a fruit sandwich, and I introduce how I write the Japanese Wikipedia article about fruit sandwich. And actually, I don't like fruits, and I have never eaten fruit sandwich itself, but I can write the Wikipedia article. Yeah, so this is a quite interesting activity in itself. Yeah. So I know that many Wikimedians have such unique or interesting activities. So I want to know such activities on Diff. Okay, this is the final part of my presentation, Future Vision. Needless to say, I will continue to contribute to Diff and Wikimedia project itself. And I want more and more Wikimedians to write about their activities and especially philosophies on Diff. And I believe that such documents will help researchers and journalists analyze Wikimedia movements deeper and deeper. Okay. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Eugene. That was so interesting. And just while you were presenting, different ideas begin to like pop up in my head. And I'm beginning to think of new ways to contribute to Diff beyond just publishing about my activities. I loved the idea of even talking about your Wikimedia philosophy and the way you diversify how you contribute to Diff is just so amazing. Thank you so much, Eugene, for sharing your experience, your Diff experience with us. So before we go into Q&A, I would like to call on Yuriko. So Yuriko is a staff of the Wikimedians of Japan user group. And she would be also sharing a case study of how she is connecting Japan to the world through Diff. Yuriko, you have the virtual mic and you can take it over from me now. Thank you.
Oh. Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I start my presentation. My title is Connecting Japan and the World Through Diff. Today, based on my experience, I would like to talk about the utilization of Diff blog. This photo is a cherry blossom near my house. Spring in Japan is full of cherry blossoms. My name is Yuriko Kadokura, and my username is Wadakramon. And I am author of a 70-year-old Wikipedian talks about the charm of libraries. And I am a member of Wikimedians of Japan user group. So today's summary, the first, the utility of a blog called Diff. The second, blogging in English and communicating Japan to the world. The third, translate English Diff articles into Japanese. The fourth, what I have learned and aim to achieve through blogging. Fifth, conclusion. So let's get right into the first part of my lecture. There are various social networking sites such as Facebook, Telegram, Threads, and so on as tools for individuals to easily communicate. However, they are mainly composed of simple messages, images, and videos, and while they are suitable for communicating the current world to one's contemporaries, they have limitations as a tool for communicating a coherent view towards the future. In addition, search is not convenient. In comparison, a blog is a tool that allows a certain amount of information to be posted, is easily searchable, and has a short URL. Diagrams and images can also be easily posted. It is much easier to start a blog than to build a website. And the blog is an excellent tool not only for personal communication, but also for disseminating information to the world. Before I started Diff blog, I had been blogging in Japanese for over 10 years as a librarian and had posted almost 2,000 articles to the web world. I was posting on this blog of the Information Resource Center Shibusawa H. Memorial Foundation. Blogs rise and fall rapidly, but the company Hatena's blog has been providing a stable service since it launched in 2003. All the articles I have posted so far can still be read today. Through this experience, I became familiar with what blog means, how to write blog, and how much fun it is to publish information on the web. I have also done several blogs in my private life. For example, the blog of a 70-year-old Wikipedian. In this blog, I posted about why did I start Wikipedia and what articles have I written. Then I wrote a book based on this blog post titled A 70-year-old Wikipedian Talks About the Charm of Libraries. I also realized that a personal blog cannot be used as a source for Wikipedia, but a Diff published by the Wikimedia Foundation, a public organization, can be used. I started editing on the Japanese Wikipedia in 2016 and published a book in 2023. Here I wrote about my experience as a Wikipedian. Until that time, my interest was only in Wikipedia. Around that time, I learned that overseas Wikimedians seems to know very little about the situation in Japan, so I began to contribute to the English version of Diff in order to inform people overseas about the situation in Japan. Here are a few from the articles I have posted. The left one is Wikigap Japan 2024. We held Wikigap Editathon since 2019. The middle is Learned Chonka Game in Malaysia. This is my own experience on Wikipedia and Wikidata. The right one is Wikipedia lecture at Japanese Children's Bookshop. To write a proper article, I needed a variety of knowledge, and my learning expanded. I also learned various expressions in English. I translated my book into English bit by bit and posted to Diff. The first is Meet the Encyclopedia. The second, Knowing the Collective Knowledge. The third, Started Wikipedia. So far, I have written 8 articles about my book. I also started to read through the English version of Diff. I have also come to realize that in the world of Diff, it is more important to convey things boldly than to be meticulous as Japanese people. I noticed that many concrete examples of the movement were posted on Diff, so I started to translate what I learned from the English version of Diff into Japanese. Here are some articles I have translated. The article on the left was written by a young Wikipedian from Bangladesh. the middle one is a Wikimedian from Uzbekistan about a wonderful story about Wikidata. The right is a powerful report from Indonesian youth Wikimedian. Last year, in 2024, I participated in the ISIAP conference in Malaysia and Wikimania in Poland. ISIAP is the affiliate, belongs to Wikimedians from East, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific region. And Wikimania is an annual event that brings together Wikimedians from around the world. And my interest was broadened from Wikipedia to Wikimedia Movement. The left one is Wikimania 2024 report from my friend Eugene and his friend Taufik from Malaysia and Jana from Turkey. The middle is American Wikimedian Annie Rauda. She is a media contributor of the year 2022. The right one is How Czech Seniors Enriched Wikipedia in 2023. As I translated, I gradually came to understand the movement as it really is. Although Japanese Wikimedians' interest is biased toward Wikipedia, Diff was rich in topics about projects other than Wikipedia. I wanted to inform the Japanese community about such global trends. I learned that Diff also includes a message from the Wikimedia Foundation and a message from affiliate ISIAP community. In addition, I can read the information on conflicts we must not look away from. These two Diff articles, which came out this year from the Wikimedia Foundation. The article on the left is a collection of messages from the Foundation's executive team, which gives a very good overview of the Foundation's current efforts. The right article from the Foundation's global advocacy team helped me understand Wikimedia's work and the Foundation's commitment to protecting volunteers. In the process of translation, I have learned many terms, people, and organizations related to Wikimedia. ISIAP is a Wikimedia Foundation's affiliate, but it is largely unfamiliar to Wikimedians in Japan. The article on the left is from last year's, and the right is this year's ISIAP gathering, which I translated into Japanese. In 2024, I translated or wrote my own Diff articles related to Russia, Ukraine, and Israel, Palestine. I believe that the collaboration-based Wikimedia movement is playing an increasingly important role in a world that continues to be divided. There is only so much one person can do in a lifetime, but as a Wikimedian, I want to focus on what I can do now. On the other hand, while translating the Ukrainian Diff article, I found that Wikimedians in Ukraine have continued to upload a lot of information about their country's cultural heritage and beautiful nature to Wikimedia projects since the war with Russia started. It was also clear that Wikimedia Ukraine has implemented and achieved much more diverse activities than Japanese user groups. This experience was very helpful for me to reflect on the position of my country. I gave lectures to share what I had learned from the Wikimedia movement with the Japanese community and posted them on Diff in both Japanese and English. The left one is talking about the Wikimedia movement today. The right one is Wikipedia lectures for library users and librarians. With these lectures and posting on Diff, I believe I have helped to spread awareness of the Wikimedia movement. So today's conclusion. Let's write Diff articles in your language and English. Let's translate Diff articles into your language. Let's expand the Wikimedia movement through Diff. So this is the invitation to the Facebook group Diff Japanese Edition Club. Everyone is welcome. Thank you.
Wow, that was so interesting, Yuriko. I love your storytelling skill. Was so fluent and very clear. And I love the way you walk us through how you started and what you are now doing, even building a community where people can continue to share their experience, not just on Diff, but even like having a community on Facebook. So thank you so much for sharing all of these insights. Good to listen to your case study and also see how you've succeeded in connecting the world in connecting Japan to the world and the world to Japan, right? Thank you so much. Okay, we've all heard all of the interesting case studies and also have Chris present on what the Diff blog is. We've seen the statistics, we've seen authorships, we've seen how Diff is being read across the globe, and even seen like some gaps where Chris mentioned Greenland not having any readership. Okay, so with all of this that we've heard today, I would like us to reflect, take some moment to reflect on what we've learned. What are we going to do with this, all of this information? And how are we going to improve the way we spotlight or publicize our programs and events in our communities? So we'll take some 10 minutes to go back on the haha slide where we'll be sharing our takeaways. And I'll take just some seconds to share my screen. And yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see here, we have an image of a man eating from a takeaway. So I want you to imagine that all of what you've listened to, that the sharers had spoken on today, is the food that is in that takeaway. And tell us, how did you find the food? Is it interesting? Sorry, was it delicious? Not interesting now. Did you find the meal very interesting? I mean, all of what they've shared. And if yes, tell us, can you explain how it felt in your tummy? So these are what we'll be taking on this slide. And yes, I see participants are typing and just trying to be sure that I've not broken any link on this slide. Let me try to reload the slide. Okay, so I see a comment saying the image is my mood now. Okay, that's interesting to know. And yes, let's see what we have here. Okay, so the first key takeaway from this clinic, I am fortunate person to be able to work with people like Yuriko and Eugene. Yes, I totally agree because their storytelling skill is 100%, you know. And so let's just see what other comments, feedback we have. And also feel free to share your takeaways in the chats. I see a whole lot of questions, but please, can we share our takeaway?
Maybe the question I see in the chat right now to Yuriko and Eugene and Chris, what advice would you give to new contributors about reading and learning about Diff?
Okay, from my own view, maybe it is good way to read other Wikimedians article before you write article. I think maybe more than 10 or 20 articles reading will be better, and mimic them. Okay, how about you, Chris?
I would say if you're new, to what Eugene was saying, use the search box, which unfortunately doesn't show up on mobile right now, but on the desktop version of Diff, use the search box and search for topics or things, areas of interest, and just read a little bit about what other people have done, what exists now. We are a movement of hyperlinks, and so I encourage people to add links to their articles, and Diff is full of links too, including people's name. So like if you go to Diff and you find an article that Eugene wrote, let's say, you can click on Eugene's name and see all the blog posts. So it's a way of like digging into a particular person or a particular topic. So just go read some. That's what I would suggest too.
How about you, Yuriko さん？もしあれだったら日本語でも大丈夫ですよ。Sorry, I will translate into
Yes.
Japanese.
Yes. Yes. Search box is very nice.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah. I hope we need search box in the mobile mode. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
It is shared on the screen. Yes.
such-
For example, Wikidata or when you search in the keyword of the Wikidata.
yes,
And
yes,
yes.
I found that article in search box. I entered Wikidata.
Mhm. Yeah, it seems there are a lot of comments and questions in the Zoom chat, so I cannot watch them all of them. So, Cassie, could you pick up some of them?
Say that
Cassie, or any other stuff? Yeah.
Say that one more time, Eugene.
There are a lot of comments and questions.
Oh, yes, there are.
Zoom chat.
I can go through the ones in the chat. Another question is, I think this is more for Chris. How long does it take for a post to be approved?
That's a good question. We try to at least contact the author within 2 business days. Weekends kind of are, if you send us something on a Friday evening, I know Friday evening is tricky because of time zones, but if you send us something late on a Friday, we probably won't get to it till Monday or Tuesday. If you need something published on a specific time, let's say you're announcing something and you want it to go out at exactly 1400 UTC, email us and we can schedule things to and make sure things get published at the right time. But generally, it's about 2 days. I will put a giant asterisk next to this right now because I'm on sabbatical, so I'm not actually at work until June 2nd, so I don't know how things are going right now at the moment. So if you've got something in the queue, email diff@wikimedia.org and somebody on my team will help you. Sorry, I'm not at work at the moment.
Thank you for your answer. Another comment in the chat that I see is, can there be a collaboration in writing a Diff blog? I mean, different users editing and adding information to a draft blog before it is published?
Yes, we can do this. And I sometimes collaborated with Wikimedians from Turkey and Malaysia and created an article on Diff. So I will share the link again. So wait a minute, please. Sorry. Yes. Can we share? Can we share my screen? Okay. Thank you. Yes, this is my article with my friends, Eugene Ormandy, Tofik is Tawfiq Rossman, the Wikimedian of the Year 2023, and Kurmanbek, he is Jana from Turkey, the one of the Wikimedian of the Year 2024. And we are friends and launch a collaborative project, and we gather at Wikimedia 2024. So we co-write the report of the Wikimania 2024 in one Diff article. For example, what did you learn from Wikimania 2024? Eugene Ormandy, blah, blah, blah. Tawfiq, blah, blah. Jana, blah, 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 blah. So I think such collaboration style on Diff will be, it is very fun and very interesting and very has a value to archive. So I hope more and more Wikimedians collaborate on Diff. Yeah, so this is my answer.
Okay,
And the
thanks.
translation. Yeah,
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yes, thank you so much, Eugene. There are some other questions in the chat, and maybe I can read the next one that says, can we create, okay, I think that has been responded to. Can I create a blog post based on an edit war? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. From the viewpoint of the one volunteer, we can write this in the proper way. Yeah. Yeah, but in the serious way, serious answer, yeah, I think edit war on Wikipedia or other Wikimedia projects should be archived or summarized in a proper way. So Diff is one of the good media to report it. Yeah, this is my opinion.
I
Chris,
agree.
do you want to speak to that? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with Eugene. I think doing it in a constructive, way, I think is important, right? I don't think we're going to publish a blog post that is, I got in an edit war with this volunteer and they're a poopy head. I don't think we'll publish that one. But if we would have published something about how conflict is resolved or how we can compromise or those sort of things, like how those sort of, things sometimes start out with lots of tension, but then the result is we actually can improve the article or improve the policies or whatever it might be. That framing of it, how do we go through those difficult challenges and how do we come out the other side of them, I think are definitely beneficial for others to read. And like Eugene was saying, would be a great way of expressing to the world the kind of behind the scenes of how our projects work. A lot of people don't know how they work, don't quite understand what this all means. So yeah, I think in the proper context, definitely.
Yeah, let me add 2 points. If you want to write about a different article about such as a sensitive topic, yeah, I recommend to keeping a neutral point of view and clarifying who write this article, who write or what, in what respect, in what position, from what position, and so on. Yeah, this is my one volunteer's opinion.
Yeah, thanks for specifying that. Okay, so I find another very interesting question here, and it's from Susila. How do you manage to review the posts from regional languages? And I think this question goes to Chris.
That's a really good question. Two ways mostly. One is I'm fortunate enough to have a team of people who are based around the world. The team I'm on is called the Movement Communications Team. You can look up who all is on my team on MetaWiki. But the Movement Communications teams, we have people in pretty much every parts of the world. ECAP, Junko, who's here tonight, in Japan, Yvonne, I think, who's here too as well. We have folks in India, we have folks in Africa, we have folks in Europe, we have folks in South America. I think we have folks everywhere. So they have a lot of language and a lot of familiarity with communities. So often what I'll do is if a blog post comes in and I'm not able to quite understand the language or having difficulty getting it translated, I'll ask another team member on my team to help out to understand the context or where this is coming from, and sometimes even work with individual authors. And frankly, the other part is we do use a lot of machine translation. I will take the article as a draft, put it through machine translation. Again, we have a very light editorial process. As long as it's in scope, as long as it's about the Wikimedia movement and is constructive and trying to share information, I will review it. Even if I don't speak that language or read that language, I will machine translate it and we'll publish it. I'm trusting of people, assuming good faith. So that's the two ways I go about doing it.
Yeah, thanks for that response, Chris. Yuriko, I would like to maybe throw this other question to you. So someone is asking that what elements can make their Diff post stand out? So maybe you want to share from your own experience.
Okay. So let me translate in Japanese, please. So wait a minute, please. Soまあ、Diff ってどういうところが特徴というかいいところだと思いますか？まあ、特に他のメディアから際立ったところだと思いますかみたいな質問ですね。
それは私の最初に一番最初に言いましたけど、一つは検索がちゃんと簡単にできる。確実に。
The first point is we can search well. で、はい。ですかね。
あとは、ショートメッセージじゃなくて、まとまった考えがきちんと載せられる。
We can write up a long idea on Diff. Yeah, not a short message, not a limit of the number of the letters. Yeah, it is Yuriko-san's opinion.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be writing a whole content like you're creating a Wikipedia article. It has to be very succinct and also interesting so that it captivates the minds of the readers and they want to read more about your stories on Diff. So thanks for responding to that. Okay, I think there's another question here. Okay, this has already been responded to. Like what elements? Okay, we've responded to that. And then we have two questions on our screen. I'll take the first one. What are the ethics governing the publications on Diff? Chris, can you respond to this? And what will make one's Diff posts not to be published? And how do one avoid that? So the person is asking about the ethics governing publishing on Diff and the don'ts of Diff. Yeah,
Sure.
not the do.
Good questions. The ethics governing the publication of Diff are are all documented on Diff itself. If you go to Diff and you click the, I think it's the submit button at the very top of the page, and you scroll down a little bit past that, there's a section called scope. And so if you look at that scope, it talks a little bit about like, what are some examples of what, what is Diff trying to do, right? What are we trying to accomplish? I hope that gives some guidance, right? What our goals are, basically the kind of high level guidance that we try to follow, right? And we try to hold ourselves to this too, right? When I say we, I mean people on the team managing Diff. We're not going to, I hope not, be hypocrites and publish something that wouldn't be, in scope, or that wouldn't be constructive, or that wouldn't be in line with the goals, right? So it's all documented there. We also have, because Diff's so old, I mean, it's not that old, but it is old. It predates the UCOC. We actually do have a code of conduct on Diff as well. So we have a clear code of conduct at the bottom of that same page that describes like behavioral sort of expectations we have with each other. What will make a blog post not be published? I mentioned it earlier. The biggest thing is not having proper attribution. You can write the coolest, most beautiful blog post, and you have like 5 really amazing pictures in there of the event or of the photo contest or whatever it might be. And if I cannot find, if you do not tell me where those photos came from, our team just can't publish it, because we want to publish everything under a Creative Commons license. So that's the biggest one. The biggest one is not having proper media attribution. There's documentation on Diff on how to do that. You can also reach out to us and we can help you. But the biggest one's going to be not having attribution and not being in scope. Again, if you write a blog post about how you feel about people who wear glasses, it's not really interesting or I think relevant to the Wikimedia movement. Now, if you're writing about articles about glasses and you're translating them into multiple languages and you think this is important for these reasons, et cetera, like, yes, that would be in scope and that would be something that would get published. So again, making sure it's in scope and making sure we have the proper attribution.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you for
That's right.
responding to all of the questions. Do we have, okay, Eugene, do you want to say something? Or was it
Yeah,
Chris?
I
Okay.
repeat that let's contribute to Diff, and let's contribute to collaborate with Wikimedians, especially around the world, on Diff post. I think it is a very fun
Okay.
and interesting activity. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for responding to all the questions. I think we finally exhausted the list, and thank you. Okay, so just
For
checking
participating.
briefly in the chats. Okay, we do not have any new questions, and that's fine. With this, I want to say thank you to all of our sharers. Yuriko, you did amazing. And so did you, Eugene. Thank you so much for sharing all of your experience and letting us know that you can actually do more on Diff. It's not just about writing about a campaign you organize, but you can also speak about your Wikimedia philosophy. I find that's very useful, and I'm so inspired. I can't wait to publish something different. So Chris, watch out for so many new Diff that would be coming to you soon when you're back from your vacation. Okay. Thank you. I would pause now and pass to Anthony to take it away from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Bukula, and thanks everyone for participating in this learning clinic. Actually, this learning clinic has been planned with Eugene during the ECF conference 2024 way back in May. So it's almost a year, and I'm happy that we were able to achieve it now. And of course, Eugene, Yuriko, and Chris to share your skills in Diff blog writing, and I hope we would utilize that space. But before we part our ways, I would just send a Mentimeter link just to assess how this clinic went and what improvements we would need to do as a team. Yeah. And the link is on the chat, and if you could just answer it, would only take at least a minute. And I would also want to use this time to invite the participants here for another learning clinic we would be having on May 13th. It would be about communication and and cultural sensitivity in conflict resolution. So it's part two. Since it's a series of learning clinics.
Please, please, please fill in the Mentimeter. This will help us guide what a part 2 of Diff blog implementation would look like, as we want to come back together as the sharers and the team to see what that would look like in the future. If you've already filled out the Mentimeter, this is also the time where, as we end the learning clinic, that we say goodbye and thank you in our native languages. And that's always the best part to hear at the end. So in Spanish, muchas gracias, Yuriko and Chris and Eugene, for your lovely storytelling and overview of Diff. I've actually gained more information about Diff in this moment than I had in the last few years being at WMF. And the storytelling from Eugene and Yuriko was absolutely inspiring about how we can represent our story, not just what we're doing in the movement, but our story as Wikimedians from across the world. So thank you so much.